Well, the effects of having the police do things wrongly sparks up reactions from the public in the northern region over how the police maltreated some customers who had illegally tapped power. And that story is trending on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Irate Tamale youth go on rampage, attack police station, smash glass doors of Netco office, break car windscreen. That story is on page 18 if you want the full story on that one. Ghana also take custody of AstraZeneca, 1.5 million AstraZeneca doses donation from Germany. And the Tadi story, I'm very sure, also trend through all the papers as well. It's also here on page 3. I beg your pardon? Of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. And lastly, CSIR VRA needs $4 million to revamp abandoned Pozzolana cement factory, says the director speaking on page 15. Well, I continue with the Daily Statement this morning. Striking performance at Bust. So $624 million trade liabilities reduced to $39 million. And also revenue earning assets up from 17% to 75%. That's really a good one. Photo of the managing director of Bust, Edwin Alfred Povenko, here in front of the Daily Statement this morning. And as well, something to worry about. Ghana records over 18,000 new HIV infections. 18,000. Let's not take our eyes off the ball, worrying about the other virus, which is COVID-19, and not focusing on the one that has been living with us here for years. 18,000 new HIV infections. Stories on,
you know,
what's the thing?
There's a little bit about that. People have been complaining. Once COVID-19 came, our attention moved from even tuberculosis, TB.
Yeah.
Do you know how it ravages people and the impact and you know, all of that? We took our eye indeed off the ball in a way. Our HIV case numbers have not been bad, but it appears now we might be in for another battle. So
18,000 is a lot. Regardless, there's 7 million extra condoms that were purchased in 2020 per the report.
Over 40 million purchased in the year.
It was 32 million like you gave, but then it went to over 40 million. So we purchased a lot of condoms, more than our population. Wow.
Well, it's because likely there are multiple users.
Yeah, exactly. Let's look at that business. I don't know why they didn't ask that when we were doing the statistics at the census check to see.
Well, it might be difficult.
But even talking about sex, just to cut you, so there was a story in the Ghanaian Times about a gentleman, a police officer who had raped, who had had sex, I beg your pardon, with an inmate and allowed her to go. Yes.
Legendary,
I'm telling you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen.
It's
a policeman.
What this was around?
This happened in the
2
cell.
a.m. thereabouts.
Yeah. He was alone on duty.
Has this lady in custody, remand, police custody, and he has intercourse with her. I am sure they came to some mutual agreement.
Where? In the cell?
It's in one of. Let me just confirm.
In the cell or
place for
he
you.
invited her out?
Yes.
I mean, if you ask me, the power of sex has still been reigning since Adam and Eve.
Well, I understand, but
no buts to this one. I mean,
so this one, when he goes to court, you ever kind of saying? Because she gave something for her freedom.
No, he was.
Oh no, but she was never free in the first place. In fact, she was due for sentencing. Then this happened. So do you know the interesting part, Jay? I don't know whether you, but she went back home. Yeah. And her own people nabbed her and took her back the following day to the police station. No, they knew she was due for sentencing, so they did the right thing. You know, as you know, very patriotic citizens. Took her back
out of jail and criminals. They might probably hold the police at gunpoint, but this was she held the police officer at sex point.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. The man, please, she didn't.
We don't know the details. But it will be rape if the police officer, forced himself on her. That's a different story. So this one.
It appears to have been a mutual agreement, but we hear they could be arraigned together on the same day.
Hey.
So what do you say?
Save the date.
Okay.
Very good one. In court.
In court.
Okay. Yeah. Well, finally for the Daily Statement, here's NLA is doing the most to get the most for us as well. So NLA creates Corporate Affairs Department to enhance efficiency. Is on page 2 of the Daily Statement this morning. Samuel is doing good. Yeah.
Right, let's take a look at the daily graphic. IPAC can't be statutory body, of our electoral commission, and IPAC since the 1990s, early 1990s, the history of it from around 92, 95, thereabouts. But Dr. Kweja Farijan, a former EC chair, is saying that It cannot be a statutory body, and its decisions should not be binding on the Electoral Commission. It's been a while since Doc spoke, but he's spoken on this all-important matter. You would also know that the NDC, for example, has been, talking about IPAC, its role, and how they are not satisfied with the Electoral Commission on certain things. Now, Attorney General secures scholarships for lawyers, judges, cache of arms seized at Tamale Port. And you saw the scenes from that robbery where the woman was. I don't know what it is.
Was taken from her. Yeah,
exactly. A lot of people are beginning to. Over the weekend, I was at a wedding as MC, and people were talking about some of these incidents. People are scared. I can't say that the generality of the population is scared, but some of these things create a lot of problems. The people in these banks, like Professor Enning has said, should be checked out, because sometimes they could be the informants and all of that. But the proliferation of especially small arms, and a lot of these armed robbers, let's face it, I think over the weekend on Newsfile, ACP Kwesi Fori was there. Look, the robbers are outgunning our police service. Do you get it? So now people are also thinking, should I get an arm to protect myself? Do you know the process? Do you know how long it takes, to secure an arm? In the meantime, some of these people are not securing them through the right channels, and they are attacking, people out there. So it's a grave concern.
One of the things I also realize about Ghanaians is how we quickly pick on trends, be it business, be it lifestyle. When you see one person starts a business, in the next thing you realize people have jumped on that particular trend. So it sometimes dovetails into crime, and once people find out that, the motorbike robbery seems to be an effective way of robbing people. Next thing you know, you have a lot of people. It's quick. Because they're also trying to find means and ways to upgrade their processes and how they get into crime. So, this is something that the last couple of, I think it was last weekend, last 2 weekends, the police was on the holiday, the Tuesday, the police was on a swoop with the motorbikes. They arrested a lot of people.
I think in that particular case, they even mentioned that they had nabbed one person, something of the sort.
Yes, we can only hope for, enhanced security and better equipped police service so that they can actually be able to track and trace some of these people.
But let's face it, they've showed very positive signs under acting IGP Dr. Dampare. Let's see how things go. Let's see how things go. Anyway, with regard to this cache of arms, if you look at the sequence of IGPs, you can't go as far back as Namfuri and the rest, but if you look at the recent, maybe David Asante-Appiah and the others, and you look at the dynamics he's brought to bear, I feel he is almost like the Auditor General who was, should I say forced out? The Auditor General who had age issues.
Was ousted by them.
Who had age issues and had to step aside. I feel he's following that trend. But just to wrap on that, so this one, it has to do with the Preventive and Counterterrorism Unit of the Customs Division of the GRA. And guess what? The item seized 9 sidearms pistols, 8 assault rifles, 219 pieces of live ammunition in a 40-footer container. So if that doesn't scare you, of course, we are not scaremongering, but Charlie, this is not looking good. The center spread fire on the mountain. Find out why. It's about Ibri girls. On the back page, 15,000 free oil palm seedlings for New Joabin farmers.
All right, let me jump into Daily Guide newspaper as well. Now, I used silicone belly, says Azan woman, mother assisted. And this story has caught the attention of almost everyone as well. And the way the story has just developed is quite, strange. And it's a picture of a silicone belly and how, I don't know whether it's the one that the lady used or it's a silicone belly on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. I want to see how that works. As well. Now, that story, I don't know your reactions to that story and how you, it's crazy. People go to the extra lengths to try and find means and ways of making money, faking their own pregnancy into faking their own kidnapping, and faking the loss of their own child. That is extreme, if you ask me.
Did she do this for money, though? Money hasn't come up yet.
Well, she says she did it for her husband and all of that. It's quite a mix because she does have a child.
Well, okay.
Well, so they didn't think through the whole process to the point to find out that if she came back after a child loss, definitely the health service will step in and want to verify. I mean, she didn't think to...
I don't think she thought through all of that because maybe now after having, created this bump artificially and now knowing that, okay, after 9 months, you're actually due to deliver a baby. Husband or hubby would be expecting a baby. He too, I don't know how he could have been with his wife for 9
Is he saying that he didn't know?
9 months.
He hasn't denied it.
And I don't know this whole thing, but
what I'm concerned
it's a bit
about,
tricky.
Jay, what I'm concerned about is that if she has a child already, then I'm unable to put this argument forward. Maybe she was under some pressure. We should really be careful.
That's
about
where
how
I'm looking at.
We talk about people who haven't gotten married already, or who are married.
I mean, that's a brilliant area to look at. That find out the root cause of the decision.
And we should even look at it because it could be that the other child, I've not checked, could be a daughter, and maybe the man wants a boy. All those things are there, so you have to fake it.
Nobody,
and all
just
of that.
Disclaimer, nobody is saying that the woman was right, but I mean,
we've got to rise above, apply a little bit of rationality.
And by this discussion, we are also not claiming to know exactly what the reason was. We are just,
Anyway,
well, it's glaring at us on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper as well. More stories here, real quickly, which we've already spoken about: the Okada riders and the reason and the sudden increment of crime through the use of motorbikes. That story is also here. And interestingly, did you know what's happening in the UK? I think I saw the story here with regards to shortages in fuel.
Fuel, yeah.
You should see the memes that are floating around, and I said,
"This is the best time to be a truck driver."
I know, right? You can say that again. Okay, so these are the main stories here in the Daily Guide newspaper as well.
Well, Jay, what did you say this word was?
Yeah, the pillion riders. Yeah, the pillion riders.
Okay.
I also double checked it.
What are they?
The second rider, I think at the back of the main rider.
Oh, okay. So, police turn heat on armed robbers on motorbikes, and it says that 2 pillion riders gunned down at a Shama. And there's a photo of acting IGP George Ekufu-Dampare here with a thumbs up. And the story is on page 2 and 3 of the Chronicle. And also, Upon Nkrumah tells journalists to focus on security of their country. And there's a photo of him speaking to some media guys in front of the Chronicle. And also, rogue lady's confession vindicates Minister Kobe. So I don't know if it's just right to start describing her as a rogue. But the Chronicle, that's how the Chronicle is describing the lady Josephine Ping in Mensa here, and says that, so this goes a long way to vindicate what the original minister said, that she might have faked.
Okay, so I'll say this, and it's just me being blunt. Yes, the regional minister was right, Dako was right, but I still feel it was reckless the way he came out. It shouldn't have been even him coming out to say that. So it doesn't change the fact that what he did, per what I think was
I mean,
very poor.
I couldn't agree more in that. So it will take me to the scripture for the day, Proverbs 21 verse 7. The violence of the wicked will sweep them away because they refuse to do what is just. You will find this at Proverbs 21 verse 7.
And that feeds into the bit about the 2 pillion riders, right?
Well, they didn't do the thing that's just. Though they are suspects, but sadly they've been gone.
So their own violence will find them.
Well, on Sundays, you see the females who are pillion riders, because they're going to church, they sit in a certain way.
They
sit
on Sunday it's more dignified. On Monday, anyway,
I'm not coming along.
I will wrap with the final newspaper. Oh, don't worry. The day I'll ride a bike, we'll adjust it for. So I want to say MFA. We need proper adjustments. Exactly. Else that bike, me the MFA. Boston increases revenue earning assets from 17% to 75% in 2 years. That's according to the MD. Vaccination is making the difference in declining COVID-19 infections. That's according to the Ghana Health Service. Apart from what the Germans have given us, the United States is also going to give us quite a chunk. I think both Pfizer and Moderna, or is it Johnson & Johnson? I know Pfizer definitely. And it means that we're going to boost our vaccination numbers. Currently, it's just around 777,000 of us who have taken both shots of AstraZeneca. And I think a little over 1 million who have taken at least a shot. So there's quite a lot of catching up to do. You know, Mr. President is still reiterating that we're hoping to vaccinate about 20 million of us. You know, initially it was supposed to be October, but now the reality is that, Charlie.
It's impossible.
So I don't know whether we can do that by the end of the year, but that would be awesome if we could actually do that. HIV. Now, back to that, here's an interesting twist. 5,211 of 15 to 24-year-olds infected in 2020. Adult men sexually infecting young girls. And this is where my problem is. Well, some may not do it intentionally, some may, but think about the teenage pregnancy
conversation that we had.
You know, then you see where this is coming from. Because a lot of these men, and especially on the back of COVID and what has happened, you can see how the linkage, you know, is there. And it's a big worry. It's a big worry. I think we need more education on this. You know, but we were so hard on HIV. Do you remember? In the 90s, and the ads and everything, and the ABCs,
I still have
what was the
commercial. We'll come to
Be Faithful.
We'll come to that. I still have that
condom use
commercial
and all of that, Charlie. Anyway.
Quick Word Things commercial. You know Quick Word Things. Is it Quick Word Thing they call him? Isaac Oting, sorry. Isaac Oting, yeah. That's why I they use condoms. Remember that commercial?
Yeah.
I got it here, right here. Anyways.
Anyway, so it's a wrap for me as far as the Find newspaper is concerned.
Okay, the New Crusading Guide, so rejecting galore on MMDCEs, is on page 3 and 10 as confirmations turn bloody. So if you assemblies have rejected their MMDCEs, such as the Echima Imbioja South.
Is it Echima?
I saw that and I said I wasn't going to read that story.
I hear it on television and on radio, and it sounds really easy to hear.
Contemplate the word.
Snails? Yeah. Open file and snails.
Yendi,
no, can you pronounce the place again?
Which one should I do? Pronounce or think about it?
Echimade.
Echima Nwabieja.
But the name is pretty. Imagine Echima.
Oh.
Nwabieja.
Echima.
So these two places seem to be topping the list of. Oh, are you aware that I'm reading the news?
No, we're paying attention, rapt attention.
Okay, so we know that there's been a lot of misunderstanding with MMDCs and all of that. Some people, you're interested.
That's a nicer story.
Why did you even dare go to that story? You knew we would do this.
The story is on page 3 and 10 of the New Crusading Guide. Please grab a copy and get a good read for yourself. Leave this to me. So the Ghanaian publisher as well. Police tighten security in parts of Accra over robbery attacks. That's saying customs grants amnesty to users of uncustomed vehicles. We brought you that story a little earlier last week. That's for the Daily Searchlight. And quite same stories in front of the Economy Times as well.
Ghana's public debt headline.
So Ghana's public debt climbs up 335.9 billion.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like the way we put it in G.
Government records 7.4% deficit over first 7 months of 2021 as well. The Economic Times has been reporting, except that they didn't bring the current photo of the finance minister.
Oh, you know, I've seen photos of his where, you know, when he had COVID, the weight and everything.
Did he?
Like what happens.
Oh, yeah, and
I've seen recent photos of his where he's, you know, all plump, and which is a good thing, actually.
Is it?
Because back then, I mean, if you saw him then, he looked emaciated, like he looked so sick.
Well, before the COVID, his weight. Well, okay, it's fine. Before the COVID, he looked quite, you know, okay and all of that. But we can understand that he had COVID. But the photos of him now, something to worry about.
Jay Foley. You skipped a story. I can't let us go without that story. It's on the back page. It's a sporting story.
Oh no, Anthony
my favorite loss.
Joshua.
Anthony Joshua was pounded by Ukrainian Alexander Usyk, like Ibita.
something definitely
at the Tottenham
wrong
Stadium
with Anthony.
No, I don't think it's something wrong. This I feel for him is the toughest test ever, and we all knew. I mean, the Ukrainians, don't joke with them. From Vitaly to Vladimir, all those Klitschko's and Charlie, they are tough. And this one,
you can lose, but not such an embarrassing way to lose.
The way he beat him, I don't know whether he will be coming back like he did with.
He had his days. Joshua had his days.
No, I mean, I don't know whether there's going to be a sequel.
We'll push him to.
It's okay. Joshua had his time and his days, so it's okay if he's been beaten. I mean, hey, life goes on. Joshua, I mean,
you make money.
It's fine.
I don't know.
You know the reaction.
Still like him.
Oh yeah, I love him.
Well, talking back about public debts climbing up to 335.9 billion Ghana cedis. Well, we're back with what's trending as well. 3 top stories we'll be giving you. But before we do that, this is a message that probably we'll have for our debtors. Don't go away.